Hey everybody, we are going to be doing chapter 1 in your fancy schmancy Pearl packet today. Hope your name's on here. Mine is not. You should do that. Take a look at chapter 1. Mrs. Raines is giggling in the background. That's what that is.
Good job.
We're going to start by taking a look. You've already read chapter 1, but we're going to look at just this part of it right now. You'll notice we do have a little note here of what page you're looking at. So this is all from page 2 and page 1, okay? Kino heard the little splash of morning waves on the beach. It was very good. Kino closed his eyes again to listen to his music. Perhaps he alone did this, and perhaps all of his people did it. In Kino's head there was a song now, clear and soft. And if he had been able to speak of it, he would have called it the song of the family. His blanket was over his nose to protect him from the dank air. His eyes flicked to a rustle beside him. It was Juana arising almost soundlessly. On her hard, bare feet, she went to the hanging box where Coyotito slept. And she leaned over and said a little reassuring word. Coyotito looked up for a moment and closed his eyes and slept again. Juana went to the fire pit and uncovered a coal and fanned it alive while she broke little pieces of brush over it. Now Kino got up and wrapped his blanket about his head and nose and shoulders. He slipped his feet into his sandals and went outside to watch the dawn. Outside the door he squatted down and gathered the blanket ends about his knees. He saw the specks of the Gulf clouds flame high in the air. The song of the family came now from behind Kino. So we're going to take a look at some different information here. We have some different definitions. We're going to start with point of view. I'm going to highlight that. These terms are all going to be really important later, so I want to make sure I'm noting them as I go. They're going to come up when we finish reading our novella, excuse me. So point of view is the perspective from which a narrative is told. You'll remember studying this earlier this year when we did kindergarten day, right? So there's first person, second person, third person. In this case, our book is being told in third person, right? So we know that because our main character, Kino, is referred to by his name and by he, his, right? Then we have Juana referred to and Coyotito. There's no one saying I or me or my, and there's no you. Second person's an awkward point of view to write a story from anyway, right guys? So this is written in the third person. Our next tool we're going to think about is imagery. So I'm going to highlight that one too, very important. Imagery consists of words or phrases appealing to the senses. Descriptive diction. We've got quite a bit of descriptive diction here, so I want you to take a moment and read over this again and see if you notice any beautiful imagery here. You can pause the video if you need to. Welcome back. I like when we see here Juana arising almost soundlessly. I know that's imagery because it's one of my senses, right? What I'm hearing. Hard, bare feet. That's very descriptive, right? Oh, I like this. Broke little pieces of brush over it and fanned it alive. Oh, I like that a lot. Mrs. Raines, am I missing any that you wanted to mark?
Let me see here.
Oh,
I like
clear and
this
soft.
clear and
Yeah.
soft.
Very wise.
And how the Gulf clouds flame high in the sky. Gathered the blankets about
can we
his
add
knees.
specks? There we go.
Specks of, yeah, that's even better. Blankets. Okay, very good.
So you can see there's lots of sensory detail, lots of imagery, right? Lots of things about our senses, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, all of those things. Our next tool is going to be details, the facts revealed by the author or speaker that support the mood or tone. And that's what we're going to talk about next is mood. Mood is the way the reader feels when reading a story, and I'm going to write me next to this because tone is about the author, but mood is about me, how I feel when I'm reading this.
How it makes me feel while I'm reading it.
Exactly. And it's easy to remember because they both start with M.
There you go.
So we're going to be thinking about mood. What kind of mood is presented here with these really great images and all these wonderful details that Steinbeck has given us? And I think, Mrs. Raines, that I feel pretty peaceful when I read this.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard how I was reading it. I used my real low voice.
Your soft voice.
Yeah, my soft voice. I think that part of that's because of how soothing I find this image to be. And so that's what I'm going to be thinking about as I'm reading this prompt down here. What predominant mood does Steinbeck create with imagery and details? Use parenthetical documentation for all textual evidence. And you'll see those quotation marks are on textual evidence because I got to use quotation marks if I use textual evidence, right? So I'm going to start this off and then you'll finish it up for me, okay? The predominant mood at the beginning of the novel is, I think peaceful is a good word here.
Peaceful is.
I could maybe use calm.
Mm-hmm. Soothing.
That's a good one too. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All those work.
You can pick one of those to put in your blank, ladies and gentlemen. And then you're going to finish out these sentences. We've given you kind of a frame to fill in. So it says, Steinbeck uses details and imagery such as, you'll see you've got quotation marks, so you have to put a quote here, and here's for your citation.
So how do you find your quote, Mrs. Phillipson?
I think I'm probably going to come back and look at that imagery, because that's what the question asked me for.
Mm-hmm.
It asked me for imagery, and I've already marked some things, but I want to make sure I pick ones
imagery and details.
Oh,
so
that's
it can
true, and
be any fact in there or any image in there.
That helps
feel peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll add those in there, and then when I get to the bottom here, so I've got to have that second one, right, with its citation. When I get to the bottom, these words make the reader feel, this is my commentary. This is my CM, ladies and gents. Okay, so here's where I'm analyzing why it is that the words that I chose from the text make me feel peaceful. You know? You're gonna have to really think and dig in there, aren't you? Get deep.
Why are they associated with peace or with
the connotation behind them, right? Talk about that connotation. Very helpful. When we're talking about mood and in 8th grade when you talk about tone, connotation is going to be so important.
Right. I do want to just bring up that when you pick your text, if it's Steinbeck page 1, then you'll put Steinbeck 1 here. Because like if it's anywhere from number 1 up, that's going to be from page 1. And then down here, if you have, your other one might be from Steinbeck 2. Would you put 2 there or Steinbeck 2?
I would just put 2 there, Mrs. Raines.
You're so smart. Okay, that's exactly right, because we already know the source is Steinbeck, and it's the same source, but a different page number. Just like we
practiced on our research paper
recently. This is just a research paper. It's an MLA skill.
It is. It's a great MLA skill. So I'm going to circle this. You're going to make sure you finish page 1 tonight.
That's right.
Boom. And then we're actually going to skip ahead. We got crazy here, guys.
I know, I messed up.
We're going to jump. It's just fun.
Oh yeah.
We're going to jump ahead to page 4. See this? Page 4. That's where you're going next. And we're going to look. So we're going to start at the bottom of the. Oh no, we're going to start with the definition at the top, aren't we?
There you go.
There's a definition at the top of this page. It is symbolism. Can you see it? Yes, we can.
Yep.
The use of any object, person, place, or action that not only has a meaning in itself, but also stands for something larger than itself, such as a quality, attitude, belief, or value. Mrs. Raines, can you think of a simple example of that? I was trying to think about one just a moment ago.
Well, mine are always religious. I think we think about those quite a bit, like the Star of David, Judaism, and the cross, Christianity. So I just think of those. The American flag is sometimes a symbol of freedom. So those are the biggies in my head. What else are you thinking of? I mean, they can be more subtle than that.
How the red sweater when we read.
Yes. In 11, the red was symbolic of
frustration and anger.
And emotion. And then it's also symbolic of a wound. She was emotionally wounded. So you think of a wound as being
red, bloody.
And so those are all symbols. Now in this book, there are many symbols. So we've done one for you.
We're going to jump to the bottom of the page.
The hard one, in fact.
We did the hard one. We used to make you do the hard one, guys. But we decided this year we would be kind. Right,
yes.
Mrs. Raines?
Yeah, we really were. Very kind.
We have a quotation here. For a long time, Kino stood in front of the gate with Juana beside him. Slowly, he put his suppliant, I just messed that word up, hat on his head. Then, without warning, he struck the gate a crushing blow with his fist. He looked down in wonder at his split knuckles, at the blood that flowed down between his fingers.
Okay, when is this in the book?
This is when they're going to see the doctor, Mrs.
That's
Raines.
right. That's right. And so we need to know where he's standing. We have to have kind of a contextual understanding of when this is happening in the story.
What's going on.
To understand maybe the symbolism. So if he's standing in front of the doctor's gate and the doctor just slammed the gate on him, basically sent his servant to shut the gate on him.
Sent him away.
And you have a baby who could possibly die at any second. What are you feeling as a poor man standing there?
Ooh, I'm not feeling good.
Such strong emotions. Okay, so I'll let you talk now. Go ahead.
So our first step is going to be to list literal details and facts. So what things are actually in here? If I don't know what the literal things are that can be symbols, it's really hard to analyze the symbols, right? So the first thing we have is a gate. He's standing in front of a gate. And so what is a gate? We're gonna look at what the meaning is behind that, right? And if there's any connotation we can think of too.
Yeah.
So the gate's a barrier. It can allow some people in and keep others out. And in this case, it's keeping Kino out, right? Intentionally.
It's right. And who's it protecting on the inside?
That doctor.
And all his rich
That
stuff.
colonial doctor.
So we know he's probably a Spanish colonial. Would you agree? Or
Probably.
European? Let's just say European.
Then we have that if you hit something hard, you feel pain. I don't know if you've ever hit anything hard, but I think this is probably true. You feel some pain.
Like you're mad and you hit the wall. Yeah, that's going to be more painful for you than the wall.
Probably. And then the follow-up to that is then that wounded flesh from hitting that hard thing is going to bleed, right? Those are the things that are happening to Kino.
Those are all literal facts right there.
They're all things that happen here, right? He hit a crushing blow with his fist, his split knuckles, and blood that flowed. So these are things we're seeing in the text. Then we get to dig a little deeper, and we're going to analyze. So why is it that we include this gate and this bleeding hand, right?
Yeah, I think Steinbeck, he's so sneaky.
He's a sneaky Pete.
He is using literal things to represent something much more deep and profound. He wants us to think about life and how those things reveal something about life. And so we wrote this lovely commentary as example for you. I'll let you read it.
Symbolically, Kino strikes out at the economic and social barriers in his life. His will is not as powerful as the system which excludes him, so he feels emotional pain and turmoil. His life bleeds hope, and he becomes weak with worry. Then you see Steinbeck 12 here.
Oh,
right?
The thing
12,
cut
it's
it
fine.
off. Okay, there's your 12
we'll write it
there.
in pink. It'll be great.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The hole punch.
So here we're going through. So we talked about the barrier gate, keeping in and allowing in and keeping out, right? So here we have social barriers. That's our barrier. The system which excludes him. So the gate is representing this system. It keeps people out, right? He feels emotional pain and turmoil. He feels pain when he hits his hand against the gate. His life bleeds hope. Wounded flesh bleeds, and he becomes weak with worry, right?
When you lose blood,
Yeah.
you
Losing
become
blood
weak.
Creates weakness.
And so emotionally, he becomes weak. That's good.
And you'll see here, Mrs. Raines drew a wonderful picture that kind of exemplifies this. So we have our gate drawn here. We have the blood dripping down. And you see in the drops of blood, we have pain and hope. In the clouds, money, help, success, power, and these big walls that are keeping Kino out.
From those dreams of whatever lives on the other side of that gate. You know, some of us live in communities or have driven past communities that are gated. And, you know, it's literally a barrier. And I'm sure Kino saw that when he saw Hacienda above the gate, but he couldn't actually reach the doctor who could actually give him those dreams of help or power, or even if he had money, he could pay for that. So all those things represent what he shut out from receiving.
So now you're going to do the same at the top. So your quote here, the ants were busy on the ground. Kino watched with the detachment of God while a dusty ant frantically tried to escape the sand trap an antlion had dug for him.
You know what I want him to do right now?
What?
Go to Ed Puzzle.
And look at that antlion
And watch,
video.
we're going to load an antlion video for you. And in order to really analyze this,
You have to know what an antlion is.
you need to know an antlion.
It's a real quick video, don't worry.
And you need to just go watch this National Geographic short little clip about antlions, and then you're going to return back and start writing literally about
What are the things,
antlions
yeah.
and ants.
Yeah, and then literally, what is it? Symbolically, what does it mean? And then give us an image to go along with that. You're going to be great at it, I know it. All right, we will talk to y'all soon. Bye.